Well, federal agents have left Seattle. That, according to city and state officials, the officers were sent there to contain violence at ongoing demonstrations following the death of George Floyd back in May. Mike Solon is here. He's the president of the Seattle Police Officers Guild. So the DHS agents have left Seattle. You have the mayor of Seattle and the governor. Welcome to you, by the way, Mike. We have the governor and kind of framing the issue as, well, we kind of pushed them out. But the truth is, according to a lot of officials, look, there was no threat to the federal buildings in Seattle anymore, so they left.
Yeah, hey, Trace, thanks for having me on. You're absolutely correct. But the threat came from far-left progressive activists pushing a neo-Marxist agenda across our entire city. And unfortunately, the unreasonable activist class now has control of the elected officials in the fringe group of the Seattle City Council that are pushing their progressive ideology for defunding the police. That's why I need your viewership to help us at this time, because Seattle's policies are paving the way across the nation. I've said this before, that they will metastasize in every major urban area. I need everybody to get involved across this nation, to go to stopdefunding.com and push back against this far left progressive ideology that has everybody hostage by its unreasonable activism. And 60 cops over this past weekend were injured.
59 police officers,
cops.
You're right, Mike. And I just want to bring up the point that, you talk about the progressive policies and ideology there, but you have the mayor of Seattle, Jenny Durkin, talking about, the bringing in of federal agents. She thinks it's a dry run for martial law. Listen to her. I'll get your response on the other side.
He's clearly targeted cities run by Democratic mayors. He said so himself. He's using law enforcement as a political tool. I hate to say it, Aaron, but I really believe that we are seeing the dry run for martial law. This is a president that is using law enforcement and federal forces for political purposes, and that should be chilling to every American.
Except the feds have said, look, if there's no threat there, and the same thing in Portland, if they will get away from the courthouse and they will stop threatening to burn it down or trying to burn it down, the federal agents would leave, Mike.
Well, clearly what the dry run for Seattle was the Chaz Chop experience, where multiple people were shot and killed. And then now I ask for support from any local, state, or federal law enforcement entity to help us in Seattle, because we almost lost the ability to have less lethal tools that are effective in holding a riotous mob back. Trace, if we lost that tool, we would have lost a precinct over this past weekend. And the evidence is 60 cops were hurt by improvised explosive devices, projectiles, wood, frozen water bottles, metal. So to deny any type of assistance from any law enforcement entity, to me, is unconscionable. And I have yet to hear one elected official show concern for the officers that were hurt this past weekend. So this
what are
will
they saying,
spread
Mike?
Across this nation. Please go to stopdefunding.com.
That's the question is, what are they saying? What are Seattle officials saying when you say, you're going after the federal, movement of agents coming into Seattle? What's being done, and what are they saying about the 60 officers who were hurt last weekend in violence aimed at those officers?
Not one elected official has shown concern for any of the officers that were hurt. Major injuries. And I've yet to hear anybody say that that is unreasonable activism, that's criminal behavior on behalf of the fringe group of anarchists that are pushing a political agenda, and cops are in the crosshairs. Look, elected officials 2 months ago, the president of the Seattle City Council and the mayor are saying that the Seattle Police Department is the most progressive agency in this nation, that leads the way in training and de-escalation and policies. I find it ironic that the city council is now looking to defund us by 50%. That move will make Chaz Chop, the experience that it was, look like child's play when you have up to 800 officers that will lose their jobs. Because as you know, Trace, 50% of the budget is 85% salary. Seattle will be a lawless wasteland.
Got your point, sir. We got to go. Mike Solon, thank you very much. Appreciate it.